welcome back to my channel. It's time for another installment of the book report. This week is one of my childhood favorites, The Twits by Roald Dahl and illustrated by Quentin Blake. Guys, I love this book. When I was in elementary, he's one of the authors, because I've read almost all of his books. He's one of the authors that got me inspired to write and to dream and to create something out of nothing, right? And just, it would just make the world fun, So this book was written in 1980. My mom was 7, so I wasn't even thought about. But this particular copy that I have was republished in 2007 with the original illustrations and all of that jazz. So diving into what's on the back of the book so we know what we're getting into. How do you outwit a twit? Mr. and Mrs. Twit are the smelliest, nastiest, ugliest people in the world. They hate everything except playing mean jokes on each other, catching innocent birds to put in their bird pies, and making their caged monkeys, the mugglewumps, stand on their heads all day. But the mugglewumps have had enough. They don't just want out, they want revenge. Dun, dun, dun. Okay? So, just straight from the back, we know our key players. We got the Twits over here. We got the mugglewump monkeys over here. We got the birds over here. Listen, it's going to be a good time. All right? This book is fun. It's lighthearted. It's really quick to read. You can knock it out in about a day. But what else can I say just going into this book, going into the story, okay? Mr. and Mrs. Twit, they don't have anything better to do than to sit around and play pranks and just these mean jokes on each other. And I use the word jokes loosely because it's funny to us as a reader, but to them, and to be in that situation, if you were real life in that situation, that would honestly be a nightmare, okay? A nightmare. One thing that happens is with Mrs. Twit, one of her pranks. She goes out and she digs up just this pile of worms, okay? And she decides, she's like, hey, I'm going to let him eat worms, all right? So she prepares her worms as if they're spaghetti. And so he comes home, he's like, hey, babe, what's for dinner? And she's like, I'm trying this new recipe for spaghetti. Come on, have a seat. Have some. So he's eating it, just gorging, okay? It's all in his beard, it's all over his face and his eye. And he's like, these are a little bitter, and these don't really taste right. They squishy. Like, what's going on? Go back to the old recipe. I'm not really digging this. So he eats the whole bowl, all right? He eats the whole thing. She waits for him to finish. And then she's like, well, you want to know why they're so bitter? You want to know why they're so squishy? Because they're worms, right? And she just breaks down on the ground. She's laughing. It is hilarious. It is a good time. And, she's just like, hey, you ate worms, all right? That's to get you back for what you did to me yesterday, okay? I didn't eat no worms. So, the book is full of illustrations. Okay, this is her. She is just, I'm telling you, she's having a good time. And it's full of illustrations. And it's just, it's a good time. It's a great time. Overall, like I said, this is one of my favorites. You may be familiar with some of his more popular ones, like the author Roald Dahl, some of his more popular books, like the BFG, Matilda, James and the Giant Peach. I think I actually have. I do. This is the BF. This is my copy of the BFG. This one, obviously is a little it's a little bit thicker. But, you know, the Twits, like I said, you could knock this out in a day. It's a really fun read for your beginning readers. I read this maybe second, third grade. So if they're on their reading level, but if you're just like me, you know, I've reread it a couple times just because it's just really fun. You know, it's something super lighthearted. You don't have to think too much about it. And a lot happens, even though it's not that long, even though it's fairly short, a lot happens within these pages. And I'm not going to give too much away, but just know that the monkeys, the mugglewumps, they do get their revenge. I'm not going to tell you how, but I will tell you that they do get their revenge. Okay? So, if you have read it, how did you like it? Would you recommend it? I recommend it. It's a great story, in my opinion. If you haven't read it, pick it up. Go get it. It's not going to take you that long. Or find a copy online or something. It's just super fun to read by yourself, to read with your kids. And then also with this, and I'm going to read it straight from the back, it says 10% of author royalties from the sale of this book are donated to the Roald Dahl charities. So when you buy a book, you're also donating to charity. So it's a great thing. What can be better than that? So that's going to conclude what I felt, what I thought about the Twits. How'd you guys like it? All right. Until next time, I'm my Unique C. Green, and you guys, happy reading.